Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is a dawn of a new era. It is ALR, and we are back. Gosh, it feels good to be back, Alex. What are you feeling at this moment?
I'm just looking forward to what is going to be a fantastic season ahead of us, I'm sure. So, I'm just looking forward to the draw that's going to be coming up in a few minutes and getting us back underway.
Indeed, I'm going to be a bit out of sorts, really, because I haven't actually done any commentary or any F1 stuff for about for several months now. Goodness gracious me, I'm a bit green now. Almost as green as that track's going to be in a Bahrain coming up in a couple of weeks' time then, as we are not far away now. It's been the longest 60 days of my life, Alex, since we started this countdown. I bet you that you've been chomping at the bit as well.
Well, I've been doing stuff to get it all ready, so it's been good fun. But really, just looking forward now to getting the drivers in their cars and getting the racing underway, which is going to be very exciting indeed. So, looking forward to it.
It is indeed. This is going to be season 8 of ALR, then, of course. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. It really is indeed. Then we've got a full calendar. It's going to be unusual this season. So we're only doing one season of F1 2022. A bit like when we first started. Remember in F1 2018, we only did one season of that as well. But 24 Grand Prix, 24 races around all of the globe. Then we are going to have China and Portugal as well as the official Formula One calendar of F1 22. It is going to be fantastic stuff indeed. There's new rules, new regulations to contend with, and I'm sure that the drivers are going to be very much up for the task. Indeed, Danger Times is our world champion for the top division, and he has won a quarter of his Grand Prix that he has started it, which is pretty fantastic numbers there. Goodness gracious me, he's going to be starting to emulate the legend and great Emerson, who the double world champion. He will not be in this season, but he will be definitely keeping a close eye on proceedings. I'm sure of that. We've got Gurman also returning as well. Then, of course, he is the season 6 world champion. Oh my goodness gracious me, 2 champions on the grid then for gold next season. Silver is also making a return as well on Monday nights, and bronze is also returning as well on Tuesday as well. And then we've also got a special league which will be on Wednesday as well, which is up in the air at the moment, Alex, whether we're going to be doing realistic or 100%.
100% for me. But no, I think, like I said, looking forward to getting these grids all sorted. Obviously, tonight will be the decider for the main divisions: gold, silver, and bronze. And really, well, we'll tackle the event league in the next few weeks anyway, sort of outside of the top 3 divisions. But yeah, looking forward to having that as well, because it's going to be an exciting sort of bit of fun to have on the Wednesday afternoons or Wednesday evenings, I should say, really. But yeah, really looking forward to what we can have for that as well, just as a bit of an interesting league, a bit of a different format as well to the normal divisions, and obviously a bit less competitive but a bit more fun. And also, when you said back on Danger Times as well, and the likes of the champions that are coming back to us, we've got Nigel, of course, we've got you, Mad Bro, all sorts of champions from all sorts of divisions and leagues. So yeah, looking forward to welcoming everybody back as well, and they're going to be putting on a good show for us, hopefully.
It just feels right, doesn't it? This does. Just look at it. I've got the gold. I'm looking over there at the moment because I've got some of the gold statistics up ready for the draw in just a few moments' time. We have the likes of Pease returning. We got Percy up there, ex gamer. Goodness gracious me, he was fantastic, wasn't he? In silver. We got Mumford as well. That was a flash from the past. Absolutely love that. I've also got I think got a full debutant as well. Marky, who was a part of silver for a couple of seasons. It'll be his first time participating in gold, so I'm looking forward to that as well. We got Liam Ye on there as Lost Souls. My goodness me, I love it. Fantastic. Also, just a quick parish notice as well. We will be back on YouTube as well this season as well, which I love it personally. It's much easier for me anyway. I couldn't understand Twitch and all the octopuses going on and all that kind of good stuff.
Too many buttons on that one for me. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. I have no idea what was going on half the time, and I was just like, oh, okay. But we are back on YouTube now as well. One thing I did miss about not being on YouTube is I did feel that we didn't have a couple of our old school viewers, so I'm hoping that we see the return of some of our regular viewers that we had from season 6 and before. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Other changes for ALR this season? Well, it's not really much changes. We got some good old Farf who will be the race director for Gold. So the usual stuff indeed for Farf. Alex, you'll be doing the silver race direction, and we got Smithy Almighty, who is who's put his hand up, who will be driving. He will be driving in silver, but he'll be a race direction for the bronze league as well. So looking forward to having you all on board. And I'm just going to be commentating and looking forward to what is going to be a superlative season indeed. Then, but before we get into it, then Alex, and if you got any, what are you looking forward to the most this season coming into ALR?
I'm just looking forward to having it back, really, to getting all the guys who've been keen to get racing once again, and I'm just really getting into that first race. I think it's going to be absolutely epic to have all the 3 grids, well, 4 grids as well, but 3 main divisions, of course, racing around Bahrain in a couple of weeks' time or so, and really just looking forward to getting that first lap, that first 29 laps around Bahrain done and dusted, and seeing seeing who's on form and who's going to be taking it away, really.
Really, I'm looking forward to it as well. And there's one additional thing this season. Normally, we start the divisions like almost when the game comes out. We are starting it in November time, and it's been about 3-4 months since the game's come out. So everyone should be on tip-top form. I think it's going to be much more competitive. I'm looking forward to seeing how that one goes. Anyway, enough chit-chat. I think it's time to get on with the draws. But the way it's formatted is similar as before. We got some wheels. We got the constructors' wheels and we got the drivers' wheels. And we're going to start off with bronze first, then we're going to go to silver, and then we're going to go to gold then. And that is the format for the draw then. So, let's take it away then. Me, Alex, and Smithy Almighty will be going through the draw. Farfu's AFKing. Well, nothing unusual there. He doesn't like to do much hard work, does he? But to be fair, he does a lot of hard work on Sundays after the race, doesn't he? But let's get on with the draw then, shall we? Enough from us. Let's get going. This is bronze then, and Smithy Almighty. This is going to be very interesting to you then. Of course, that you are now the race direction then for bronze. And how much are you looking forward to this then? And how nervous are you actually? Because I bet it's quite a difficult job, isn't it?
I'm looking forward to it. I can see what challenges it brings, but so far it's been quite a lot of work behind the scenes, but it's good so far. So yeah, just curious to see where the season goes and who comes out on top.
Indeed, and also shows how unprofessional we are as well, doesn't it, really, since you've joined us as the admin team. Let's get on with it. And the Williams team are the first team to come out. And who is going to be the first driver off the board? I think that's going to be Hungry Styles then. Alex, who's also joined us in the gantry as well then. Alex, what are you making of Styles driving for the Williams team this season?
Yeah, again, one of the drivers who can really get on from where he's left off sort of thing in the last few seasons and really pick up some good points in the Williams.
Very good stuff indeed then. And of course, the next driver off the board is Vintage as well. He was supreme in the last bronze season, if I recall. Magnificent stuff indeed.
He finished 5th, if I remember, with I think that's 100 points. So, yeah, he had a good season.
He really did indeed. Absolutely Mr. Consistent, wasn't he? He was one of my drivers of the season, if I remember rightly. Next car off the board is the Alpine team then, the beautiful pink and blue machine. That's one of my favourite cars on the grid. I absolutely love the Alpine car. And of course, they last season, I think they finished 6th or 7th in the constructors. I can't see me notes, so that ain't very good, is it? But never mind, I need to go Specsavers. And coming off of the driver draw for the Alpine team is going to be Jinner. And Jinner then a supreme driver. Then I'm trying to make sure I don't get me wires crossed because I've been doing all kinds of commentary here then everywhere. But he's only done one start in bronze over last season. Over the season when he was with bronze. And also coming off of the board then for the Alpine is William then. So firstly, let's come to you, Smithy. What are you making of Jinner's performance?
Yeah, I mean, he raced in Cobalt last season, I believe, at ALR, and from what I saw of that, because I was racing in that league as well, I believe, he was doing well. He was quite consistent and, always with the pack from what I remember. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see where he goes.
Indeed, then, of course. But it is, he's only started once for bronze, hasn't he? So he's going to be very new to this division. And William, then, of course, he was on pole position in his debut race in gold, wasn't he? But he'll be driving for the bronze division this season. Next up is the Red Bull team. They finished third in the constructors not last season, or the season before for bronze in season 4. Of course, this is season 5 now. And who is going to be driving for the Milton Keynes outfit? It is going to be the former bronze world champion, the first ever bronze world champion as well, New Potato. He is only one of only 3 drivers on the bronze grid to ever take a Grand Prix win, and only one driver to take multiple Grand Prix wins as well. He's took 3 race wins in his 8 appearances, and for the bronze league, then looking very interesting that is, and who is going to be his teammate? My goodness me, it is Brooksy. Brooksy has never participated in a bronze race before, but Brooksy's got quite a lot of accolades, Smithy.
Yeah, again, he was in Cobalt. He finished quite high in 7th, I believe. Yeah, it's a good pairing between him and Irish New Potato. It's good to see where they're going to go.
Do I dare give the commentator's curse already? I'm reckon that is going to be the team to beat. So unfortunately, Smithy, you're probably not going to be too happy about that, as I've already I've already caused the jinx on your drivers. Up next is the Haas team then. So Haas have come in off the beautiful Wheel of Fortune. I've got to say, I always get very mesmerised by this, and I need to do this a lot more often. This is my favourite time of the year. I do love it. I do love a good old driver draw. And oh goodness me, it's the man who's never missed an ALR race. Since he's made his debut with us back in Russia, season 1 of Silver, but it's the first time ever that Serious Mushroom will not be driving in Silver. He'll be driving in Bronze. Of course, he is a Grand Prix winner in Silver in that incredible Japanese Grand Prix back in season 2, I think it was, if my memory serves me. Good stuff indeed, Dan. And that is going to be, I'm going to change my pick actually, because that Haas team of TK is looking quite strong, Smithy.
Yeah, very strong. Like I say, you got Mr. Consistent when it comes to attendance in there, and TK's pretty good driver in Silver last time. So yeah, very good team.
That is indeed. Then I think I'm changing my prediction already between. It's going to be Haas and the Red Bull team that I think is going to be very much up there, looking very strong indeed. That Haas team. And next is the most famous team in all of Formula One. It's the Scuderia Ferrari team. Of course, they don't really need no introduction at all. Then they are second in the constructors. Last time we raced in bronze. Goodness me, all those many moons ago. Good grief, wow, a very long time ago indeed. Then, and who is going to be first off the board? It is Dynamo Dan, who I believe was the season 6 champion for HDE last season. So well done to Dynamo Dan to pick up the one of the Scarlet cars, who is going to be alongside Dynamo Dan in the Ferrari team. My word, then I must say, if I was in this draw, still I would have loved to have Dynamo Dan as my teammate. And it is Billet then. Of course, Billet has had flashes of brilliance in the past, but he is a seasoned campaigner in bronze. He is the second most experienced driver on the grid, Smithy.
Yeah, I'd be like being at home for him. That'd be great. And with Dynamo Dan now, I think the team have had 3 strong teams in a row there.
We have indeed. Goodness gracious me. It's quite a stacked grid, isn't it, Bronzes? Even if it is the lowest tier in terms of, even it is maybe the lowest tier, it is still an absolutely incredible grid. I would not like to be in this grid at all, mainly because I'll probably be shown up, really. And then again, that's not too hard because I do struggle to find my way out the pit lane in some Grand Prix. Up next, I think that was the Mercedes team whilst I was waffling on there. I need to pay more attention to the wheel, really, don't I? But let's see then who is coming off of the board first. It is Sick as Muck Dead. I think I was commentating on his time during Division 7 of HDE last season. So Sick as Muck is coming off the board in the Mercedes end, and who will be joining Sick as Muck? As someone was taking a very long time to press the old done button there. I think that someone was probably drinking his coffee. Who is going to be next off the board? It is Jackson Reynolds there. Alex, and what is your input on these 2 drivers? Now they're fairly new to the ALR world.
Yeah, Sick as Muck is a good performer. He gets good points for his team regardless of where he starts. Usually gets through and gets some good points at the end of the race. So that's where you get the points, of course. And Jackson, of course, joining us for the new season. So looking forward to seeing what he can do as a newbie.
That's looking good, isn't it? I apologise to Jackson Reynolds for not giving him a capital R for his surname. Shocking behaviour there. That's why I didn't pass English. Aston Martin next off the board, and they are the Constructors' Champions for bronze. Fantastic stuff indeed there for the Aston Martin. Who is going to be the first driver of the... Oh my gosh, it is one of my favourite drivers of all time because I can't say his name properly. It's Duncan Dave, who I think was in Cobalt. Who was in Cobalt when we was last ALR. So Duncan Dave, this is going to be his debut in bronze this season, but that is he was very much there or thereabouts, wasn't he, Smithy Almighty?
Yeah, he was very quick. He was top 5, I believe.
He was indeed there, and he was very unlucky. I don't think he got a win in the end. He was so unlucky. I remember his debut in Spa, magnificent stuff indeed. But he had a bit of a problem up at the top of Eau Rouge into Radion. And at Cody F1, then he's been he's been here or there. He was in Kobo as well, I think, for a period in time, but as a super sub, Alex.
Yeah, again, one of the drivers that needs to make sure he finishes the race and can get some good points. He's got the pace to do so and get some good results. So looking forward to seeing what he can do.
Up next is the Alpha Tauri team then, and we've got some formidable drivers on board. How many have we got? We've got 6 more drivers then that is left on this wheel, and my word, it's all pretty stacked, isn't it? That's the word I've been seeing in all the driver chat in the paddock, is stacked. Marski, magnificent last season, wasn't he? I must admit, because we had 7 divisions in HC last season, I'm struggling to remember who was where, really. That's probably why we went back down to 3 tiers, because my brain just can't function. Marski, he was very much there or thereabouts, wasn't he? But he'll be driving the Alpha Tauri team at this season. Marski, who has had 11 starts in bronze in his career. And of course, he's had a Grand Prix win as well, has he? No, he's not. I'm looking at the wrong tally there. And you man, bro, goodness gracious me, the man who has got a win in his 11 starts as well, and 3 podiums as well, Smithy.
Yeah, he's another good racer. I mean, when I was racing, he was always in front of me. So, yeah, I know he's pretty quick.
He is indeed, isn't he? Goodness gracious me. And there's 2 more teams off the board, but who is it going to? It's going to be McLaren. Goodness gracious me, that was a close one, wasn't it? So McLaren then are next off the board. Then we've got 4 drivers left. McLaren was 4th in the constructors as well last time that Bronze was racing. And who is going to be going off the board then? Look at those 4 drivers there. Unfortunately, I spun the wheel before I could see who was there, really. It is, it's Scooby Stew then. Scooby Stew, he was very much, he's a talisman, really, isn't he, Scooby Stew? He only had 1 race so far for Bronze. He made his debut back in the Hungarian Grand Prix of Season 3, but he had a very good season campaign in Cobalt, didn't he, Smithy?
Yeah, he was my teammate in Cobalt, and yeah, very, very good racer, very fair. Yeah, he's going to be a great teammate to whoever he's teaming up with.
A soft spot then, and we've also got Tomo at tip top then, who is making his full-blown debut for ALR, because I don't think he's participated in any of the ALR divisions there. Alex, do you know anything about this unknown charger?
No, the unknown entity, as you might say. So he's going to be looking to get himself onto the grid and putting in some good performances for his team, and with Scooby Stew next to him, I think hopefully he can get his team. He can do that as well.
I do admit I like it when we don't know much about a driver, because it just really piques the interest, doesn't it? I love it. Next up is the Alfa Romeo team. They finished last in the constructors last season for Bronze, but hopefully they can be up the grid. They'll be further up the grid then. Well, they've definitely got they've got 2 drivers here who I think are very good friends actually, and I'm sure that Echo brought in Collins into ALR, because Collins has raced in ALR before, I believe. He's done 8 starts for Bronze, and so Alfa Romeo do have a good strong, very good, strong in terms of experience there. But Collins has struggled to get to the end of the race then. And Echo Master as well. There's 11 starts, and he's had a pole position as well. Echo has, and so two drivers are very good friends of each other then. Smith Almighty, what about that team then, the Alfa Romeo?
Yeah, again, looks interesting. I'm curious to see where they end up. I know Echo's got some speed as well. Not got too much knowledge on Collins, so that'll be interesting to see where he comes. So yeah, that'd be good to see.
And there is the drivers then, and goodness gracious. So that is your grid then, Smithy. How are you feeling for that then?
Yeah, it's looking good. Some very strong teams there up and down the paddock. So it's going to be good to see where each of them end up at the end of the season.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Smithy Almighty. Of course, he is going to be admin the Bronze division next season, and best of luck to him. And make sure that all you drivers there give him an easy time to begin with. Let's go on to Silver now, and the first team out of the hat is the famous British Racing Green. It is the Aston Martin team taking part in their 2nd season of ALR Bronze and Silver. And Aston Martin didn't do too well in the constructors last season, did they? They were was 8th in the constructor, so hopefully they might have to try and turn that around then. Who's going to be first off the board? Look at those 20 drivers there. Goodness gracious me. And, well, the first man off the board, no introduction then, it is Dan Murphy. He has had 31 Grand Prix starts with 3 wins and 2 pole positions in this division. He was runner-up in Season 2 after that incredible battle between himself and German. So Aston Martin have very much got a very strong start with that. Goodness me, that was one of the highest ranked drivers on the grid then. And who's going to be alongside him? It is going to be Equals as well, who's had 2 starts in silver, but he had a podium as well. Alex, Aston Martin, I think that's my choice.
Yeah, well, is it too early to say the constructors champions for silver? I'm not sure, but yeah, I think Dan Murphy's got the consistency there, and Equaz has got the pace. So once they're both working on the same hymn sheet, I think they'll be challenging for constructors titles. To be fair.
Indeed, then that's usually my line, Alex. So if Aston Martin does go a bit peak tongue this season, it is obviously Knowles' fault. It was nothing to do with me, even though I said it first. Alpine is next. Of course, they used to be known as the Red Bull team, didn't they? They've had a rich history, the French outfit, haven't they? The Entstone outfit in ALR. The first thing off the board for Alpine is D-Mac. D-Mac, who did he race in silver? Hang on, let me rewind. No, he hasn't raced in silver, but he has been. I think it was he in bronze or Cobalt? I can't remember. Goodness gracious me, I'm getting too old for this, aren't I? But D-Mac, they're making his debut in silver, but he has certainly got the pace, and he has very much elevated himself over the past season since we've known him. And off the board as well is Gordo, who has always been there or thereabouts. He's had 5 podiums in his silver career. I remember at the end of his silver career in season 4, he was absolutely in magnificent form, very much becoming a major contender there. Alex, thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say the same as the Aston Martin team, really. They've got one really quick driver in D-Mac and Mr. Consistent in Gordo as well. So looking forward to seeing what they can both do.
Oh, it's looking very good indeed, isn't it? Alfa Romeo next off the board. They finished 9th in the constructors last season, so almost the only way is up, isn't it, for the Alfa Romeo team? Pretty disappointing run that was season 4 of silver. Coming up then, who is off the board at first then? And it is Bradfield. Bradfield then will be leading the charge then for the Alfa Romeo team. Of course, he has had 2 pole positions in his career, and he's had 46 starts. Well, that is the second highest starts of this field this season. Only one behind Gorda, who has 56 starts in his career in silver. Then so Gorda is the most experienced driver on the grid. Who will be leading the not leading the charge? Who will be he could be leading the charge in the Alfa Romeo. It is Casal who is off the board as well. Then and there he is. Then and Casal making his debut in silver, but he is not making his debut in ALR, Alex.
No, he's making a big step up. His Cassell, of course, raced in Cobalt before. I think he might have had a couple of experiences in Bronze as well, but making a big step up into the best league, of course, the Silver League. So looking forward to seeing him and Bradfield there taking on the rest of the guys in Silver as well.
Next is the Williams team. They finished 3rd in the constructors in season 4. Good stuff indeed there. Sorry, I just spotted a spider next to me. That's why I looked a bit worried, or sounded a bit worried. Coming up then is who's coming off the board first. It is going to be Cartboy. Cartboy, was he a runner-up in gold? I think he wasn't he, back in season 5 or 4? But he'll be driving in silver. He has made one appearance in silver, I believe, which was back in Mexico season 2 before he was promoted to the gold division. But Carboy is definitely going to be one of my favourites, I'm sure of it. He is going to be magnificent, and the ever-present, who is it going to be? Oh, I thought it was going to be Reflections, but it's actually Smithy Almighty then. So it's going to be Smithy Almighty and Carboy for the Williams team, Alex.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Smithy wants to say about that, whether he'd be happy with that or not. But
it could be worse, it could be better, I suppose. I'm happy with Cartboy as the teammate, though. I think I'm definitely going to have to put some extra shifts in to get on his pace.
Yeah, well, Cartboy returned to the game as well, so he had a bit of a sabbatical, so hopefully he can get back to where he was and get himself promoted, maybe.
From one famous British team to another, we have gone to the McLaren team up in Woking now, and we got Craig R. He seems to live in the McLaren. I recall. Me, I always see when I see Craig R. I always think he's in orange. Or sorry, papaya. I mean, goodness gracious me, need to get my colour charts right. Craig R. then is in the McLaren once again, unless I've made all that up. But good stuff indeed. Then to see Craig R. He is making a debut in silver as well. I've got a couple of debutants in silver this season. I think about 7 or 8. But they are, a lot of them are returning ALR members, but they are taking a step up, as Alex said. And Florin as well. Florin is going to be a major contender this season, I feel. With a Grand Prix win in 7 starts there, Florin has said. Well, I feel like McLaren. Alex, your favourite saying is kind of is spectacular and consistent with the driver so far. Do you think the same with that McLaren team?
Yeah, copy and paste that as well. That'll be good. I had the pleasure to meet Florin as well. He was absolutely a fantastic lad. So looking forward to seeing what he can do. And of course, we've got Craig back in his familiar orange car. So all good.
Yeah, he seems to live in that McLaren, doesn't he? And Florin, of course, the Season 5 champion. The season, I think it was the Season 1 champion for Division 5 last season, wasn't it? So good stuff indeed then. We go from beauty to the beast then. So from Florin to Farf, who is going to be driving for the Constructors World Champions, and it's the AlphaTauri team then. Farf has had a Grand Prix win in his 33 starts then, but I must admit, when he went to silver, I was expecting him to be a bit more competitive than what he is. Maybe I'm just being harsh on the lad, perhaps then, but there you go. Well, we do love a bit of banter, me and Farf. My goodness me, though, what a teammate he's got in the Constructors Champions of AlphaTauri. I've got Farf and Nigel, 2 Grand Prix winners as well, and Nigel's had 20 starts to his name. Alex, I think that I've changed my decision again then on the Constructors Champions.
So I can tell who's going to be the second driver of that team, I think. Nigel is out in front, so looking forward to seeing Nigel competing for the wins, and hopefully Farf will get some points from further back as well. I
think Farf's Achilles heel is usually getting to the end without causing some mayhem. Haven't said that he's only had 8 DNFs in silver, so it's usually pounders it really ruffles his feathers. Haas is up off the board next then, and so then who is going to be racing for the it's not so famous too at the moment, is it? But the famous American team, and it is going to be Fangio. Fangio, I think, in terms of stats, is probably the highest rated driver. Indeed, he is. He's had 5 Grand Prix wins. Fangio has had in 13 starts, and he's had 8 podiums as well. And my goodness me, and 7 poles in 13 qualifying attempts as well. Goodness gracious me, I think that Fangio, if this is one on paper, Fangio would definitely be hands down the favourite. But it's not one on paper. Next up is Irvine as well. Irvine, who was part of Cobalt and Bronze last season. I think he finished third in Cobalt, didn't he, Alex? Sorry, I butted in there. Carry on.
No, I think they're both talented drivers, so a great pairing for the Haas team. Looking forward to seeing what they can do for Gunter.
Indeed, of course, Gunter, the man, the myth, the legend. Talking of legends, it is the Scuderia Ferrari. They weren't very legendary in silver last time they was taking part in ALR. They finished 10th in the Constructors, unfortunately. But there is 6 drivers on the board who I think could really make a name for themselves in that Scuderia. And one of them is Camera Racer. My goodness me, he has been around forever and a day, and he is supreme in qualifying in the races. So he does seem to get caught up in a bit of mischief, doesn't he? A bit like Farf, really, isn't it? But hopefully Camaro gets a clean pair of heels, and he could be definitely one to watch. He's only made 1 appearance in silver, which is back in the Monaco Grand Prix of Season 3 for Camaro. So hopefully he'll have a good run then. And V Todd, well, he is kind of a legend in silver, in my opinion. There are 58 Grand Prix starts then, which is actually more starts than Gordo. So I apologise to V Todd. I have sold him short there. So he's got the most starts with 5 podiums and 6 fastest laps there. So I would say that Ferrari could be off the bottom of the pile then, Alex.
Yeah, I keep changing my tune, but I think Ferrari are going to be one of the top teams, and both amazing drivers. It's been a pleasure to have them in ALR for such a long time as well. So looking forward to seeing them take to the track.
Indeed, then, of course, and they're going to have a legendary status, aren't they, by the end of this. Next is the Mercedes team. They finished second to AlphaTauri, and the Constructors are back in at Season 4. Look at those 4 drivers on the board then. The wheel's just too quick for me. But who, oh my golly gosh, then, I think it is going to land on Tango. Indeed it is. Tango, well, it's not, don't really need to give him much of an introduction. He has raced in gold majority of his ALR career, but he has never raced in silver silver from looking at these stats at the moment there, but which I think is a bit wrong, to be honest. I'm sure he raced in silver, but never mind. But Tango, who would definitely be who's definitely one of my picks then, along with the other 18 drivers that have come out so far. And B Rabbit, my goodness me, B Rabbit was fantastic in Division 7 of HD last season. Very much, I think he was runner-up in the end, or for in the constructor, for in the drivers there. That's a Alex. Wow.
Yeah, Tango, of course, another one who's coming back from a sabbatical, so looking forward to seeing what he can do, sort of getting the pace back in there from before. So if he gets back to his pace quickly, then it'll be formidable, and I think he might be trying to get into the top of the drivers there. And of course, Brabbit, who's absolutely fantastic and a star character, a great guy.
Yeah, one of my favourite interviews was with B Rabbit. He's just so happy about. He's just so happy whatever happens really in the races. Which I need to take a leaf out of his book. But then again, I'm Ginger Rage. What do you expect? I'll do Rage. Next off the hat is Red Bull Racing. It is Reflections. Very much one of my drivers of the season last season. They were supreme. I think in Division 5 for HD. Reflections was magnificent. I think he finished third in the end, potentially. I can't remember. Magnificent stuff for Reflections there, and very much one to watch with 28 starts in his career. And last but not least, it is Pot Stuff, who's also making his debut in silver, Alex.
Yeah, two great drivers. Reflection with the consistency as well. Pot Stuff again with the speed. So I keep changing my opinion, my options once again. But I think I'm going to have to go with every driver, every team on this grid is going to be a constructors' winner. So there you go. That's all over in my book. But absolutely amazing. And like I said at the beginning of this video as well, one word, stacked. So looking forward to being the admin for silver for sure.
Yeah, and of course, Alex will be leading the line for silver as well, as he mentioned there. That is the word that I was thinking of as well. Stacked that's ridiculous, isn't it? That silver grid, fantastic. Just looking at that lineup there, all 10 teams could be in that constructors championship fight. Up next is gold then, and this is Sunday night. This is then, and of course, this is the pinnacle of ALR, and it is the Ferrari that is the first team off the board, fourth in the constructors in season 7 last season. And let's see then. Look at those 20 drivers. Goodness gracious me. To be honest, all 20 of them can be the world champion, but only one can be the world champion. Now, who's going to be first off the board? And good heavens, it is German, the season 6 world champion. Had a bit of a nightmare last season, didn't he, German? I felt he lost a bit of his edge there for German, but it's great to. But let's see what he can do now. Of course, German, of course, with the season 6 champion. Now, you don't lose your edge overnight, do you? Who's going to be driving alongside German in the Ferrari? We got 19 drivers to pick from, and it is going to be a returning legend. It is going to be Mumford, who was a Mercedes legend for most of his career in gold there. But Alex, Mumford and German there.
Yeah, switching over to the other side then in the Ferrari. But German, of course, season 6 champion, and like you said, he had a bit of a difficult season last season. But we'll see him. I'm sure, bounce back and get some good results, get some wins under his belt, and see where he can go in the driver's title.
Indeed, of course, at the moment there, German does have the most wins on this current grid with 12. So he is, in terms of wins ratio, he is the highest on this current grid lineup there. So German there, hopefully will be back to the winners rostrum. Then as we're going up for next off the board then, and it is coming up with Milan, who's talking of going to the other side. We've gone from Ferrari to Mercedes. Milan then, of course, a Grand Prix, and that emotional Grand Prix win back in the Dutch Grand Prix of season 5, I think it was. Absolutely great stuff indeed there. He'll be aiming for more of the same then for Milan, who will be driving the Mercedes. But who's going to be alongside Milan then? As the wheel of fortune then is slowing down, and it is going to be Chaza, who, I can't believe I'm saying this, has never won a Grand Prix, Alex. I think that's wrong, isn't it? But he's been so close, but yet so far.
Well, I'm sure we'll find the habit very soon this season. I'm looking forward to seeing what the team can do, because, like I said, I think they're both the pairings are absolutely formidable in terms of pace. So we'll see what they can do when they get onto the track. But just need to work on their consistency, I think, and they'll get to the finish line with some big points.
In terms of one lap pace, that team is probably pretty is very good. 13 podiums there for Milan, pole positions for Milan there, and 2 pole positions for Chaz as well. So they are pretty quick in one lap speed. But yes, as Alex said, it's just about the race trim, isn't it? Up next is the Williams team. They finished second in the constructors last season. Epic, the Animal, and Julian did a great job for the Williams team last season, didn't they? But this time around, it is going to be Pease then, who is making a return as well. Pease will be making his 41st Grand Prix start when we start in at Bahrain in a week's time. Nope, 2 weeks, I should say. We got the with 5 Grand Prix wins there and 3 pole positions as well. He's had 18 podiums as well. Goodness me, that's just under half strike rate there from Pease. Mr. Consistent as well. Now we've got Jar, who of course, I think it was the season before last, season 6, he last raced with the Ferrari team. He is returning now in that Williams team now, Alex.
Yeah, like you said, Pease, he had a run at the start of season 5 or season 6, I think it was, where he was guaranteed to finish on the podium pretty much. So if he can get that form back, he'll be shooting up the driver standings, of course. And Jer with he's got a fantastic pace as well, as we've seen that before. And in a few races he's done with us, and I had the opportunity to race with him before, and he disappeared off in the distance. So looking forward to seeing what they can do.
And up next off the board is the Haas team. They had a horrific season last season there. They was on a revolving door of drivers, and then unfortunately they just couldn't get there. They just couldn't get themselves sorted. In the end there, I think it was Black Box that was able to salvage some from them, but they still finished last in the constructors, unfortunately. Liam, making a return now to the grid then with his 38 Grand Prix starts and 2 podiums as well for Liam. He is his best finish of second as well, and he finished 6th in the championship, but in the season 5. But Liam is back with us, and so it's good to see Liam. And we've got Mr. Rage as well, who participated last season, or towards the end of last season, and had I think he had in the end 8 Grand Prix starts. He did indeed, didn't he? Mr. Rage did for the Ferrari potentially, but he is back with us as well. And so it's good to see that. Of course, made his debut back in the French Grand Prix for the Haas team there. Up next is the Alpine. It is the Alpine. I don't know. I thought it was going to be Aston Martin for some reason. It is the Alpine, of course, the most successful constructors, if you count them as Renault anyway, because, of course, Renault's got 3 constructors championships to their name then. They was absolutely formidable, wasn't they, when Emerson and Granty was driving from all those many moons ago then. But who is going to be driving this season then for the Alpine? It is going to be Bart, who is making, I thought he was making his full-blown debut, but he's not. He's had a race start already back in Japan as season 7 there. Bart is. It's great to see him, and I'm sure he's a race engineer for Milan in FVR, so that's going to be an interesting dynamic as well. But Bart there, who has shown flashes of brilliance there, and he was magnificent in Division 7 for last season. Mr. Elite, the former runner-up as well, back in season 5, I think it was, when, of course, him and Emerson was absolutely dominating the division. But that Alpine team there, Alex, both can be fast and furious when they really want to be.
Yeah, Mr. Elite there, shout out to him, of course, from season 1 of ALR. He's back for season 8, and that's pretty good in my opinion. And Mr. Bart there, of course, he said he didn't want to be in the Aston Martin and anything else would be acceptable. So there you go, you got the Alpine there. Good stuff indeed for him. Indeed,
and of course, that's a good point actually. Mr. Elite, this is going to be his 94th Grand Prix start in Bahrain. That is absolutely magnificent indeed there for Mr. Elite. Wow, that is ridiculous numbers. And of course, made his debut back in Spain in season 1. That's ridiculous, isn't it? McLaren there, of course, they are the 2-time Constructors Champions now. They won it in season 6 and season 7. And first off the board then is Clarkey, who is a 2-time Grand Prix winner. He I think that was back in season 4, wasn't it, where he really shown his speed then. However, I have been seeing some previews, and Clarkey is one of the men that I think is going to be challenging for the title this season. And next up is Markey, who was a part of the Aston Martin lineup, I believe, in silver, but now he is driving for the McLaren team, making his debut for gold, Alex.
Yeah, both drivers have really got great pace actually, and I think Markey has really come on since his time in silver. He's really improved on this game, so both of them I think can be pushing forward, getting into the points, looking to get themselves up the order, and a formidable team.
They are indeed then. Aston Martin did some great things last season to turn their dismal run back in season 6, and so they're very much right back up here for gold this season. And so who is going to be driving the Aston Martin team? Now we've got 6 more drivers on the board then. No, I can't count. 8 more drivers on the board then. As who is going to be first? It's going to be Percy, also making a return as well. Percy, I think at the end of I think it was season 6, he finished 4th in the championship, and my word there, he was very much one to watch in season 7, but it just didn't pay off, did it? Unfortunately, Percy didn't. But he has 3 Grand Prix wins in his 19 starts, I should say that. Percy, I think Aston Martin are going to be overjoyed with that pick. And who is going to be his teammate is going to be Gamer. Well, no introduction to this man. He was supreme in in silver when German was very much at the peak of his powers. But Gamer, well, that of course got his that emotional first Grand Prix win in Brazil. Then Aston Martin, Alex, that's a team that you quite enjoy, close to your heart.
Yeah, Aston Martin, of course, good to have them in the sport and on the grid, of course, and prefer the Haas. But yeah, I hope to see Aston Martin do well.
A close second then, and we got Red Bull Racing up next then, and of course now we go to Milton Keynes. And now we got 6 drivers on the board, of course. And so, my goodness me, all those 6 drivers as well. They got such caliber, including the champion Danger Times, Lost Souls, then who is first off then for the board then for the Red Bull team. They finished 8th in the constructors last season, so pretty dire season. Lost Souls has been so close, but yet so far in terms of a Grand Prix win in his career, but he'll be starting his 24th race then. Goodness me, there's so many experienced drivers on this grid now. It's fantastic, isn't it? And oh my goodness me, well, Red Bull 8th in the constructors last season. I think they're going to be aiming for the constructors title this season with Danger Times, the world champion then. As already mentioned then, he has won a quarter of his races so far. He in his 40 starts, he has won 10 races. In 40 starts, he's been on the podium 20 times, Alex.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that Danger Times isn't going to be a title contender. So yeah, one of the drivers I had the pleasure to meet as well. So looking forward to seeing what he can do for this season. And yeah, it was a great team there, and I think a great team players as well.
Indeed, then, of course, a quick shameless plug as well. The ALR shop is open as well, and there's a t-shirt, hashtag Justice for Danger Times as well. Pick it up today in stores. Shameless plug. Next is the AlphaTauri, and in the AlphaTauri, it is, oh my goodness me. So one Red Bull team didn't do well, nor did the other Red Bull team of the AlphaTauri either. The AlphaTauri finished 9th, and they got Troy, who I think he did struggle in his first season of gold, but my goodness me, last season he was absolutely supreme, wasn't he? He was very much ringing the wheels off of that car, and he is back for another go as well. A 2-time Grand Prix winner now. Troy is really making his name for it. And Wesley, who goodness gracious me, that's a flash from the past as well. Alex, AlphaTauri, do you reckon he'll be up hard in 9th this season?
Yeah, but I'm going to change my mind once again. I think AlphaTauri are going to be up there as well, and I think Troy could be gunning for the championship as well, in my opinion. And I think Wesley even could himself could be a championship contender as well. But I think they're both going to be competing for the top spots in the league. So we'll see what they can do.
Last but no means least is the Alfa Romeo team. We got 2 more drivers that is just coming off the board now. One of them is Alhan. Then, of course, Alhan feels like he's been around forever and a day. He's going to make his 21st Grand Prix start in Bahrain. He's got a Grand Prix win as well. That incredible Grand Prix win in the United States Grand Prix, of course, when he outfoxed Emerson, didn't he, in that incredible duel. I love that race. It's one of my favourites. But Alhan there hoping to add to his win tally as well. And of course, last but no means least, I was going to say who is off the board. Well, there's only one man left, and that is Peas. No, it's Pillars. I'll get the P's right in the end. Pillars also a 2-time Grand Prix as well, so dual winners in the Alfa Romeo, Alex.
Yeah, it's Pillars with an E, not an A. So there we go. Good friends as well, and really good racers as well. So looking forward to seeing what they can do for the Alfa Romeo team.
Shocking behaviour. Someone needs to go back to the English, don't they? I've got him with an A on these spreadsheets as well. Shocking. That is it then for the driver draw. There they are then. My goodness me, 60 drivers going for 3 titles. Then join us in 2 weeks' time as we go lights out under the lights in Bahrain. Goodbye.
Off the track there, but he's keeping on there. Look at this grab. Oh, Lights is in the wall. He's had a huge smash out of him in German, and Lights are the Grand Prix. Chazza's not given an inch. Is he great defending there for Chazza, and now Emerson is coming back at him there, so he battle down the hill into turn 4, and Chazza's doing a great job on those soft tires. Emerson's on the outside. Look right, there he is then, and Emerson is backing off as he has backed off, but he cannot afford a DNF tonight. Emerson can there, and Chazza is not waving him through it. As the Dickinson is a top tire, Emerson's got a pump front left tire. Oh goodness, they're the world champions in Major Campbell. Major Time just got past Milan there. Milan is under Major Campbell. Oh, or is he? Because look at that. Oh gosh, they're Milan and Danger Times. Goodness gracious me, and I think this is bad. That is awful, and I hate to say, he's been so unlucky in this event and so unlucky in ALR Gold, but Milan is going to win his first Grand Prix of his career. Milan wins the ALR Gold Dutch Grand Prix, his first Grand Prix win of his career, which means Emerson's going to cross the line, win the Singapore Grand Prix for the first time in his career. That's his 10th win of the season, and that also means he is a double world champion in ALR, the earliest world champion in ALR history. Oh, Ghosty goes for, Ghost wins the Dutch Grand Prix by 42 hundredths of a second. That's a half trying to go for it. Oh no, it's happened. Emerson is in the wall. There's a stab, a time stab. Grant is also down as well. Oh my word, then. And comes through, and he wins the ALR Season 2 World Championship. Wow, we are the World Constructors Champions of bronze. Look at that formation flying indeed then. We're winning the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, win number 12, a new record in silver. Somehow the Mercedes going wheel to wheel, going down the back straight. My word. Oh God, sending up. Oh goodness me, it's definitely not for young viewership there. Oh my word, then. Serge Rusher is now in his second position. He gets past Brandon down into third. Potato is fourth, and Liam is fifth. XR6 Troy 7th. Gordo's back in 8th position. Fantastic Baz in that position as well. And Baz trying to come back up and underneath him. Look at how close they are then. Gurman's got this squirrely there. He's got very squirrely, and Baz is on the outside. Look left, that's the McLaren. Where is he? Oh my goodness me, they are so close. Baz and he's still on the inside of the Baz. They're not giving up energy. McDermott is up into 6th position, and a serious question there is going to win the Japanese Grand Prix. His first race win of his career. He wins the Japanese Grand Prix. Oh my goodness me! Oh, that is a crash! Up in the air! And Gillis out! Gillis out! We heard the newspapers that on a penalty. Nick Durden's on the outside. There's contact. And Nick Durden starts to circuit. And he is dropped down the overlay, going through Bruce Moore. Nigel then out at the bus stop to Cage. And then he is going to win his first Grand Prix in silver. This is his first Grand Prix win in over 2 seasons of ALR. Nigel wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Well done there to Nigel.